name's Tom Huffman. I teach in Aikido of Gainesville in Gainesville, Florida. My students have asked me to make a video about the basic Suburi of the Iwama Style Jo as I teach it. Next one, Katate Toma Uchi. Toma is a form of toi meaning far. So this is a far strike. Now, when you did Katate Toma, this here, the width of your fist, was a safety here. So if it starts to slip, it doesn't fly clear out of your hand. So when you're doing the Katate Toma Uchi, if your hand stays on the end, there's a good chance that you're going to lose the pinky off of the end. That's 40% of your grip. And then when the ring finger comes off, that's 30% more. So 70% of your grip is gone. There's a good chance it's going to fly out away from you. So instead, pop your hand forward about 1 fist width as you're going up over your head to your shoulder blade. And then step forward, again relax the right hand wrist, and step out and let that sling out in a long strike down to there. And again, another thought that I was first taught was to catch this back here. Again, that's going fast, and it smashes your hand, and it hurts for months. So instead, leave your hand here and let this kind of pop off your shoulder blade. And I also asked when I started, now, is this a shot forward like this and slinging, or is it coming around here like this? And the answer I got was indeterminate, and it was pretty much figure it out on your own. Okay, so I'm not going to do that to my students. I tell them what I found from my experience. So I shoot forward, and let this wrist snap like a sling. So it's almost like crack the whip out there with that tip. And you can hear it puts a bunch more velocity into that. And as I come out here, I can catch this, dissipate the speed. Now that leads to another thought of what happens with most of my students when they're beginning. Well, what happens is that they let the Jo take them around to here. So instead of doing, and so that exposes your kidneys to somebody who's out in front of you. That's no good. So instead of that, I added a thrust to the throat. So they're now not thinking about just ending back here. They're now thinking about going back with another strike and then step back with a sliding strike. So my thought is to do like that. And so this is a strike to the throat, then pulling back through the right hand, slide the left hand down the Jo, which is another chance of accelerating that tip through the air as it's coming back down. And it's a strike, so I'm not stopping it halfway. I'm coming back to about 2 fist width between the hands. Okay? And you could add that to your thought of the minuchis, of normally about a 2 fist width distance between your hands. Now, when you see Hito Saito Sensei teach, he's usually just 1 fist width between the hands. So it's more like the katana. But in the swords, if you look at the older type swords, many of them had longer handles. The new type swords, maybe 200 years or so ago, they started shortening the handles to where it was only 1 fist width in between. But the older swords, you would find them where they'd have 2 between, and maybe even a little bit longer. Perhaps these were Tachi swords, which were a great big long sword, about that long for fighting from horseback. And they actually carried those different. They carried them with the curve down probably so it wouldn't, well, it was probably easier to draw, to be up like that. Anyways, a lot of those, they cut down the blade and left the handle tang about the same, so they now have that 2 fist width in between. And my thought on that, I talked about the speed increasing effect as it came down, is that with a little bit longer handle here, that increases the radius, which will have a speed increasing effect on that tip. So that's my theory there. So, Katate Toma Uchi. So you're popping your hand forward, coming over your shoulder blade, stepping forward in a long strike down to there, and then back to the throat, step back, pulling with the right hand when you get to the end, and sliding the left hand down to strike. Okay, so that's the Katate Toma Uchi.